Environmental harm in industrial agriculture, a green criminology look at even though the whole world is burning. Hi everyone, my name is Amaya Kiritan, and today my project looks at environmental harm through the lens of green criminology using the documentary Even Though the Whole World is Burning as my main case. I'll be exploring how industrial agriculture, environmental injustice, and ecological damage connect to the ideas we've studied this semester. My statement of the problem I'm focusing on is the environmental harm caused by industrial agriculture. Things like soil degradation, water pollution, loss of biodiversity, and the exploitation of rural communities. This matters because industrial agriculture isn't just about food production. It's tied to corporate power, environmental inequality, and long-term ecological damage. Green criminology helps us understand how these harms happen, who's responsible, and who's impacted the most. And here are just some images of like the farms and pollution that we put out. Why did I choose this topic? I chose this topic because the documentary follows Wendell Berry, a poet and environmental activist who criticizes the way industrial agriculture harms both the land and the communities that depend on it. His ideas actually match a lot of what we talk about in green criminology, especially the way environmental harm is often legal but still destructive. And here are just some portraits of the event / the issue that we're facing. And industrial agriculture in the US didn't grow by accident. It expanded because of government policies that favored big corporations, technological changes, and economic pressure on small family farms. The film shows how the shift toward industrial farming pushed people off their land, damaged ecosystems, and created a system where profit is valued more than environmental health. And here are just like some polluted waters and just the different farms throughout America and how a family farm may look compared to corporate farms. So the social conditions behind the harm. Under the surface, there are deeper social conditions that allow this harm to continue. Corporations have a lot of political influence, environmental regulations are often weak or poorly enforced, and rural communities don't always have the power to fight back. Green criminology calls this state corporate crime, when legal systems protect the interests of corporations over the safety of people and the environment. And obviously, this man is standing outside of his home that has been ruined because of pollution and all the things that go on in our environment. And my explanatory analysis, my new insight, here's where I go beyond describing the film and start analyzing the issue using green criminology. One thing the film highlights is that environmental harm is often invisible. It builds slowly over time. This makes it easier for corporations to ignore responsibility. Another point is that communities closest to the land understand the harm better than the policymakers do. Wendell Berry argues that real solutions come from local sustainable farming, not corporate systems. Green criminology supports this by showing how environmental justice movements often come from the ground up. And here are just like some community gardens and of course people protesting to help these issues that we're facing. And some environmental justice connections. The environmental justice theme is huge here. Marginalized rural communities experience the worst pollution, the worst soil loss, and the least government support. This connects to green criminology because the field focuses on victims of environmental harm, even when that harm isn't technically illegal. And here are more protests and just like water pollution, things like that. And solutions / what Berry suggests. In the film, Wendell Berry suggests solutions like sustainable farming, reconnecting to the land, protecting local ecosystems, and valuing community knowledge. These solutions line up with green criminology emphasis on prevention, not just punishment. If we want a healthier environment, we need systems that care for people and ecosystems, not just profit. And to conclude everything, even though the whole world is burning, it gives us a powerful example of how environmental harm is socially produced. Using green criminology helps us see the bigger picture, the political, economic, and social systems that allow this harm to continue. The film shows us that protecting the environment isn't just about science, it's about justice, community, and rethinking how we treat the planet. And in the top right is just a picture of like green criminology, and the other picture is just like a fresh farm. It doesn't really look real because that's not really how our farms look now, but it would be ideal moving forward, and with working on our communities and just the way that we pollute and not pollute our world. Thank you guys. And here are my references. KK, bye.